Good morning, everyone. All right, so let's go over the charts here. We'll get into some live stream or altcoins here. I do want to note I was doing a members live stream this morning, and I was interested in shorting the New York Open, and I did. But price wicked up higher, and there was this idea that we were in a range on Bitcoin, with this being high and the low, so it's just a horizontal range, and just so that idea is supported by the fact that we got these nice clean middle touches and even impulses off the middle. So I did take a short up here. The idea we swing failure this high, and so far playing out well. Coming into local support here. I actually hadn't pulled it yet. I was going to. One of the members I noticed in the chat pulled this as our most relevant local support, which he's completely right. Local golden pocket, point of control. So if this breaks down, test as resistance, that's quite bearish. Maybe we get a little bounce from here. We'll see. But yeah, that's Bitcoin. So short from here. I did take shorts on the way in this range. I'll just go over this quickly, just because it's educational, and then we'll get into some altcoins. But you know, shorting these swing failures and then shorting these local retracements, taking profits, adding to shorts, taking profits, adding to shorts. I was still short up here, and then where I got wicked out of my shorts ultimately was I shorted the New York Open around here, and by reopen my short here. So anyways, but we're getting a bounce, important local support here. That's what I mostly want to point out. Another note is Sol is also rejecting from important resistance, and FTM was in this nice local ascending channel, descending channel also rejecting from important resistance, and near is rejecting from important resistance. These are all high time frame levels. Just to point out quickly, 1 second. Let me just go here. So just on Sol in the Discord here, I just pointed out that we have this trend line, golden pocket as major resistance. I did end up shorting that, which we're getting a nice breakdown here. And then was just pointing out that when we pushed up to this near resistance, that was a nice level. And so it's really important to watch what happens here, because we might get a significant rejection on a lot of these alts, and so we can start looking towards ideas for support. So a lot of the ideas I'll be charting today on alts, like this is that Sol idea that I was sharing down here. If we broke out, a lot of the ideas will be looking towards support, and maybe there's some nice ideas on retracements here. I'm getting a ton of requests here, which I appreciate. So maybe I'll try to do these in order received. So let me just work through the list. I'm gonna just do one for now per person, because some people are sharing like 6 alts. This will be a pretty long live stream, so let's start chipping away. All right, MATIC. Let me actually go here, and I'm gonna do it in this one. Okay, the most important thing to do when you start, sorry, I have a bunch of alerts going off. Oh, it's actually a MATIC alert going off. Is to start on high time frames when you're doing analysis, and you are marking out all of your key high time frame horizontals first. That's how I like to start. Just like to be aware of these levels. Actually, you're best off when you're duplicating to just go key, I'll just call it a key hose, key horizontal. I'll delete these. That way when you're zoomed in on your chart, you know what the line is. So these are important, all these important pivot lows. This is important, you can see, so it might be important if we push up into it. And then you want to be aware of your major volume profile levels. So you're just starting to put ideas together, right? Should be aware of your major trend lines. Both for potential breakouts and backtests. And all your major fibs. So these are all our high time frame levels. This is really important. It's also key horizontals right in here too. So you can call this a key horizontal. I'm going to just name this a key level on a high time frame of resistance. This is important resistance. So now let's get into some of our lower time frame ideas. Just out of curiosity, I knew there was a golden pocket above, but yeah, we didn't tap it. And is this a 786? We've slightly front ran it. Just, it could be the 382 from this pivot. I'm just trying to see if there's actually a nice local fib here where we're rejecting from. Just looking at each pivot. All right, so it is a perfect touch of the 382 from this pivot. And this can kind of give you some ideas too if you're thinking about like Elliott wave ideas and stuff to potentially see which pivot we're interacting with. So it's a 382 from here. Okay, so if we start looking towards downside levels, this is obviously a significant trend line. We have multiple touches. Always looking for fib interactions. So I might clean up the chart here in a bit, but what I'm trying to look for is confluence, right? Between high time frame levels, low time frame levels. And I'm going to pull these fibs from each pivot. And I'll probably turn off some lines that I don't feel are as relevant. So first thing I'll note here is this pivot low, golden pocket, is this pivot low 786, which also aligns with the key horizontal. If we move down very quickly, let's say over the next, that'd be about 4 days. It's not that quick, I suppose. We'd interact with this trend line as well. So this is a really important level. I'm going to turn off these fibs. So sometimes, I mean, for me, this is the fastest way to build confluence for key levels. Is to turn on all your levels and look for overlaps. Let's pull a local volume profile. This looks suspect as a point of control. Not there. High volume area there, point of control down here. This is important to mark out. It's your local point of control. Just want to make sure my mic and stuff is on. Yeah, it will be uploaded. All right, so I'm just to clean, not that these levels aren't important, they are, but I am going to turn off some of these fibs just to clean up the chart. Can always turn them back on. I'd say the most relevant level of support for me, especially if it interacts with this trend line on MATIC, is right here. Of course, there's probably local ideas here too, but this is a pretty convincing breakdown so far. So that's around 64 cents, 63 cents, 61 cents, so kind of a region. The thing I like about it is you could have this scenario where you come in and sweep this low. So you have this impulse, you sweep that low, it's a 4-hour candle, into this trend line, into this 786, 618 trend line, and maybe you get a nice rally off of there. So I'll be watching that level on MATIC as my primary support. There's going to be more ideas below if we break down, but I'll go over the key ones. The next key idea is this point of control, right? Because that would also sweep this pivot low right into the point of control, which could be nice. And I think was that the golden pocket from here? No, I thought there was a golden pocket there. It's just above. This is almost a point of control too, but not quite. All right, so that's MATIC. I'll be looking towards those levels. Okay, let's see. This is always tough because I want to do justice and do good analysis, but you know, it's going to be a bit of a grind here. There's lots to do. I'm going to come back to this guy because there might be an overlap because he listed so many. XVG. All right. Same thing. Just be aware. Oh, this is not the right pairing to be doing this on. We need to add a new XVG. Let's do it on Bitfinex, I suppose. You just don't want to be doing it where you don't have the high time frame levels. Oh, I should label these. The labeling is important because, you know, when you zoom in on price action and you have levels and they're not labeled, you don't actually, it's hard to remember what they are. You have to zoom out. You know, when you come back to this chart a week from now, you want to have, there's nothing super clean here. I'm not going to worry about that for now. All right, let's draw some trend lines here. I think those are just going to make the chart messy. This doesn't look already to me super clear. Certainly looks like there's a pretty clean ascending trend line here. I might actually do it on the 4-hour. Make it a little bit more precise. It's just like to see how big are these 4-hour wicks. 30%. These volume profiles are going to depend on the exchange. I mean, this is almost a point of control. Definitely relevant level. Just locally, I think on XVG, I'm going to label this a POC because it's practically one. I mean, this is a pretty wonky volume profile. I'm sure it would be different on different exchanges. But, you know, same thing. You might have this trend line intersect with this golden pocket. This POC. This is kind of just quite messy with these big 30% wicks. We've obviously swing failured. We've double topped exactly off this wick. So, you know, sometimes when you have these violent wicks, they like to get filled. So you could claim that, you know, we had these big pumps and then price grinded up and filled that inefficiency, filled that wick, double topped, and maybe we come back and retest these lows. So that'd be a level of interest for me on XVG. AVAX. I'm going to start off by do everything new. So let's delete. Let's name this. Just kind of looking here. I mean, you certainly, the thing is, right now, some of these levels are irrelevant to the far upside until we break some local resistance, but always good to have them on your chart. Because eventually price is likely to probably interact with them. I actually just want to pull something that looks, these trend lines look very similar. I'll do this properly. If you hold control, you can snap price exactly to a wick. It's a little finicky. And typically the best way to do a parallel channel is to snap it here and then extend. And you just slide it to the relevant level. So you could call this a deviation. I mean, that's pretty clean. Just want to see one thing. I'd probably just pull separate volume profiles here. I will pull the major vol. All right, so this is a PLC bounce as well. Really nice interaction. This is the high time frame point of control. And then you have, I'd say this is important resistance. Could call it an old range PLC. Would have been nice to see a clean back test there. Just gonna pull some local fibs. This is almost certainly a 0.5. I've said this a lot. Altcoins tend to like the 0.5 a little better than Bitcoin, but I mean, if it's a major range, the 0.5 is just the middle of the range. You can see this center line would be the middle of this if it's a range. Push up into the golden pocket would be nice because that would, maybe as we intersect with this, because that would sweep these highs. That'd be nice resistance. I might pull a local volume profile. So the local volume profile point of control aligns with that high time frame point of control that we pulled back here that I already deleted. It's actually quite interesting. The thing that made this the point of control was actually all the volume that came in here. So you could delete the high time frame one and just know that this is your major point of control. That's the thing, you can't watch everything, but something you would be looking for is if you'd been watching AVAX and you had these levels pulled, is you'd be looking for these back tests of the point of control, because that's important. That's actually what Bitcoin rallied off of too. I'll just show this as an example on the 1 hour chart quickly. So this will be educational to an extent. I longed this parallel channel, but we pushed up into resistance here and we actually back tested this point of control. And that was our really only retracement from this resistance, which was a golden pocket. I think we came through it a little bit. No, right into it, off the point of control, and that's where we rallied from. So looking for these point of control back tests, always important. And we essentially grinded straight up here. So let's look for some retracement ideas. I think this is an interesting short, just adding an alert. It's interesting resistance, so see what kind of interaction we get there. Pulling our downside fibs for support if we reject from here. Obviously, if we make a new high, then these levels change, right? Looks like the 786 would align with the POC. I can already just, you know, not that we necessarily will get this, but if we did, I'd be interested. Because the 786 aligns with the point of control. Altcoins like the 786, and this would retrace the entire move, sweep this low, retest the major point of control. It could be a nice long setup. That comes in around $16.47. And sorry if I'm going quickly. Just I'm seeing this wall of requests. I know I am going to be in for a long stream here. Just want to see. I just like looking at potential parallel channel ideas. I'd actually just pull one fib extension. I just want to see one thing. So is the 1618 extension. I'm going to delete this because it's getting in my way. This is just, I'm just trying to think of an Elliott wave thing. I'm not going to do like an in-depth count here, but just thinking, could this be? We front ran the 786. Yeah, I mean, this is important resistance. I think it's likely we see a lot lower on AVAX, but we'll see. There's not a lot of support built on this move, right? So you can easily start retracing it. But if you start holding some local support, we could push up to here. So anyways, the only levels of interest I have, I don't like to just open random positions, is down here for potential longs, up here for potential shorts on AVAX. Okay, let's go to ZIL. Quite certain I don't have that in my list, but I'll check. Oh, I do. Probably from an old alt stream request. I'm not meaning to draw there. This looks like a parallel line. Some nice interaction there. Just curious what fib that was. So like this would have been a cool short on ZIL. Did I take that short? That almost seems familiar. Like I almost recognize this, but I can't quite remember actually. I think I did. But you know, you have that golden pocket resistance right with the trend line. That's nice. We've broken out a little bit. And let's just see if there's, I just want to see if there's a major fib here. It is the 786 from this pivot. I just like to see, you know, if we do get a rejection here, just to have some context from where and what we might be rejecting from. Would have been nice to come up and tap this point of control. And yeah, ultimately I'm just trying to build an idea, right? I'm not going to put this on as an ascending channel, but I am going to keep this trend line on. I am going to pull a volume profile from this low. and be aware of that point of control, which is also the value area low of this volume profile. Val/POC. That's the 786. Let's turn off this. Yeah, so the 618. I'm going to pull a couple pivots here. That's a nice level, especially depending on when we hit it. If we hit it up here, which it's probably likely we hit it before then, it would intersect with this trend line. I really like when key levels intersect with trend lines like this. But yeah, we have a point of control here, a value area low on a higher volume profile, potentially a trend line, potentially a back test of this descending trend line. So that's around 39 cents. I always set my alerts above the level, so I can alert when price is approaching the level. And potentially, you know, pushing up into the golden pocket or even the 786. Those are important resistance levels as well if we carry on up before tapping these levels. But I would say that if you're, you know, longing something like this, the 786 with a trend line touch might be more appealing. It might be more likely because even though you'd have to break down this resistance, it's more likely, I think, that we retrace faster than this. So, but a likely, you know, your position, regardless of which one you end up trading, probably targeting up into this point of control and golden pocket. You want your take profits to front run the level though. You don't want to set your take profit behind resistance. You want to set it before resistance. If you trade it like this, I think you might almost have to put your stop loss under the 786. But yeah. Anyways, that's ZIL. I think those are levels of interest. In a sense, I already did SOL, but I guess I didn't really talk about levels of support. I had ideas back here of rejecting into this 786. Obviously broke out. You know, we had some nice play with some levels. Like we had this perfect intersection of this ascending channel, 786. Got a decent rejection, swing failure, back tested this 618 support exactly, kept grinding up. I'm going to delete some of this. These levels are now different. But we do have the golden pocket aligning with the 618, potentially with a trend line back test. I wonder if this trend line intersects. But I'd still like to come down into the 786 and sweep these lows. I'm going to delete some local levels here. I just want to clean up the chart. I already have a general idea of what I'm looking for on SOL. Yeah, I'd very much, I mean, this is major support, certainly. And maybe price action ends up looking something like this. But I'm still targeting for sweeping these lows into the 786 around 30.6. And I have my short from here, and that is a major target for the short. But certainly need to watch these levels. I already have alerts set here. So we'll see. If we start breaking through resistance, I mean, I'd say probably likely that we just take these highs at a minimum. But we could always look at the 786 as well. This looks suspect that it might be a point of control. Yeah. You can just kind of guess, like typically your point of control is going to be in the center line of price action. And that's where the most volume has been transacted. And it's always important to look. You can pull it over a range, just this section here. And that's an important level to be aware of if we do continue higher. You know, and you might even get a retracement like this. But the way I like to trade is I'm identifying resistance, I'm identifying support, I'm trading those levels, and I'm taking profits, you know, and regardless of what happens, hopefully you're getting out with a winning trade, sometimes a bigger winner, sometimes a smaller winner. Okay, FTM. So FTM, the main thing I was looking at here was, and I had mentioned in the members group that I took profits. I've been longing, I'm long from down here on FTM. I have a pretty bullish thesis on FTM high time frame, but I took profits here at this old range point of control. So if you can see, we'll mark this out, but then delete this. This is just pulled across here from this low to here to where we got the breakdown. And that's important resistance. This really clean local ascending channel. It was clean for a while. And we rejected from here, which I was on a live stream at the time this morning. And I did point out just that we were getting a clean touch. Oh, nice. It's the 786 perfectly from that pivot high. But that this was, you know, likely to be resistance on FTM locally. So let's look at some support levels. I actually have a high time frame bullish idea on FTM, even from these lows, but it might not play out. That doesn't mean I'm longing here. I'm still trying to long support. But let's look at some retracement ideas. Not really a useful trend line here. Can maybe use this angle if we get a rejection. Let me just try this. I mean, this would be kind of crazy, but possible. It would sure wreck a lot of people who longed FTM. This trend line, this is that point of control too that I deleted the volume profile from. I think pulled across here. So it's our major point of control. Oh, it's different because, so as price progresses, your point of control, wait, what is this line? I thought it was the point of control, or is this the line I marked out? Oh, our point of control comes in at the golden pocket. Okay, so sorry, I thought this was the line that I drew here, but it wasn't. So I do have an idea here, just bear with me. This trend line probably is relevant with the 618, the point of control. So this would be an important level to watch for a retracement. It'd be a very major retracement, obviously. And I'd be potentially interested in adding to longs there. I've taken profits off my longs here, so yeah. For downside, I mean, it's really hard to justify longing anything else on the way down here because there's really no support built, no structure. Certainly we could bounce, but it would be, you know, maybe a back test of this high. I'm happy just to not add to my longs unless I get a major retracement. Happy to carry what I have higher if we get a bounce. And otherwise, you know, I am looking towards this level as well as important on an FTM. So just, yeah, not every day has to be a position, although there were shorts to be taken here, especially in confluence with Bitcoin's these ideas here. Actually do just want to look and see. Yeah, Bitcoin's getting a nice little local bounce off this point of control, which was pointed out, the local point of control in Golden Pocket, which was pointed out at the beginning of the live stream. I should read some comments here and just make sure everything's going fine, because I've just kind of been going on a tear. Link in describe. Yeah, the link for the members group should be in the description. It's luckyapestradingfloor.com if you're interested in joining. Essentially the format is I teach how to use these tools and ideas, the things I use, and have educational content on that. And then I essentially give daily chart updates and my thoughts, and say if I take a position. So I'll go over the levels of interest I have, and then I'll just say if I'm trading them. And the idea is just to demonstrate live the type of analysis that I'm teaching. Sorry, just reading some comments. Awesome. Someone just saying they've learned a lot in the first 2 minutes. Can't wait to watch the recording when they get home. Yeah, Gerard saying mention it's not a signal service. Exactly. It's not. I'm not giving signals like enter at 24157, stop loss at what. The way that I would do an update is I might talk about a level of interest, say it's this level, and then as price approaches it, I might point out if we have bearish absorption and CV cumulative volume delta or not, and then I might just say, I took a short. And for some people, that's enough. They understand the idea. If they like the idea, if they understand it, they might trade it. What I recommend is I don't like signals. I like charts and ideas that are fully explained. If you don't understand an idea, you shouldn't be trading it. If you understand an idea and you like an idea, sometimes I see ideas that I didn't chart, but somebody else shares a chart, and I just need to look at the chart. And if I like the idea, then I might trade it. But yeah, if you don't have a technical understanding of the idea, and that's why I like to teach these concepts, then it doesn't make sense to trade ideas you don't understand. All right, so damn, there are a lot of requests here. All right. My man Stizzle asking for XRP. You bet. All right. Same thing. Let's mark out some key horizontals. The most, what you'll notice here is I'm marking out key ideas and I'm setting alerts, right? I think the mistake a lot of people make is they open up a chart and they just think, should I long or should I short now? They don't have a plan. They're not waiting for any levels. They're just trying to open up the chart randomly and decide whether to long or short. And typically, any old random time you open up the chart is not a good time to open a position. I'm going to mark out this level too. I'll mark out this. Just curious. I hope this is generally helpful for you guys. Honestly, I just hope it's helpful from just an education standpoint. You could kind of see the types of things you might look for. And always important to remember that resistance and support can always break. That's why you use risk management. You could have every single idea going for you and still the trade not work. I think this is an important trend line to have. Nice middle touches, not so clean on the lower end. But because we got that back test, I think it's just important to be aware of that. I'm going to defer to this point of control. It's higher fidelity because those high time frame point of controls are more a region. You can really, I mean, if you have an understanding of it, you can really add to these ideas with Elliott wave counts. The thing is, to do them properly, they take a lot of work. And this live stream would be 18 hours long if I tried to do Elliott wave counts on everything. So point of control line with the golden pocket. You're going to notice something as we do analysis here is that you'll see that a lot of things have very similar confluences. And that's because I mean, essentially everything behaves similarly, but just on different scales and time frames. And that's why you chart everything individually, because you'll often find the point of controls aligned with the golden pocket or major fibs or major trend lines. And that will just repeat over and over and over again. I know not everybody looks at fibs or trend lines or point of controls or everything in confluence, but so this is a long ways off, but depending on how price action does play out here, this would be quite interesting because you have the uptrend trend line intersecting with the downtrend trend line and quite close to the point of control and golden pocket. So it gets more interesting depending on when you hit it. And I'm just trying to see if there's any. Yeah, so maybe it does make sense to push up higher here on XRP with a minor retracement and then something like that, just to get if we were to intersect there, because we need some sort of ranging or something for the timing to work out. But we can just dump as well. We actually are right on this trend line. You know, so XRP, not saying I would long here. It's very possible we just keep grinding on this trend line until we break it. Sure, it's the local golden pocket. Let me take off the extension here. Just make sure I'm pulling this properly. Not quite there yet. Well, certainly a level of interest for resistance above, a level of support below. And if we do move down much quicker, this trend line intersects on July 24th with the 786. And you can kind of see that this on this volume profile, there is a point of control, but this whole, like even the bottom of this is important because it's not like a defined point of control so much as it is just a region. You could kind of block it out with the bottom of it coming in around the 786. So you just know there's a lot of accumulation, a lot of buying and volume being transacted there, which makes sense because we were ranging there for a long time. But you'll see that I'm typically not just trying to long like this or this or this, these minor retracements. I really like to be aware of the higher time frame ideas and be planning towards those. And not necessarily always looking to take a trade the day I'm charting something. Whoa, someone's spamming the group how to join. You just go to the website and join. I think it's pretty straightforward. how to join. It is actually surprising because I have the link in a lot of places to join the members group. It's in my in my Twitter bio, in all my videos, in the public Telegram. But it's surprising how many people don't see it. I mean, I get DMs like, "How do you join? How do you join?" Probably every day. Anyways, locally this is interesting, but yeah, more interested in the higher time frame ideas here. Hopefully you guys can see the stream. Hopefully it's clear. Sometimes it's not. Coming in around 32 cents and 30.94 cents on XRP. Man, this wall of charts is daunting. Okay, let's go to IMX here. Some of these coins, I'm not even sure what they are. If they're brand new coins and there's no price history, I'm not really going to bother charting them. Like IMX, I don't know. I'll do a quick local charting here. There's no, I mean, it might just be new to Binance, but I'm also not going to dig through like all these random exchanges trying to figure out how old the coin is. I'm going to ignore all of that. And there can just be super relevant context that I'm missing too. Like if I don't know anything about the coin, it's possible I don't know that they inflated their supply by a bajillion% or something like that. So, but locally, let's see what kind of technical ideas we have here. So like a double top into the top of this channel might make sense. We are rejecting from likely the 886. 886 is important too. I'm just going to keep the level we're rejecting on. We have a point of control here, but this is not a very defined point of control. Like you could almost claim this point of control, although it's relevant, is almost irrelevant. It's such a widely distributed volume profile, and any of these wicks is barely not the point of control, although we did get a bounce off it. It's probably also the 382. Nope. All right, so let's just look down towards some retracement ideas. I mean, this is sending a channel idea, or trend line would be interesting here if you're interested in IMX. I'll set an alert just for fun. I probably won't trade it. I mean, clearly I can't trade all of this stuff, right? It's kind of hard to trade 50 things at once, especially when everything moves together. I'm just trying to see if I can do a little more justice to this. I mean, the value area low. I like deeper retracements typically. This would be interesting, but a full retracement of this move into the value area low of the profile, that's where the highlighted portion is at the bottom. That'd be kind of more interesting probably. But if this trend line holds, if we intersect with it at the same time as this golden pocket, and this is a local golden pocket, so you can pull them from major pivots. And those can produce interesting results. Okay, someone's asking for Uni. Yeah, and I'd agreed to do, I said I would do a big altcoin live stream when I hit 20K. So appreciate everyone who's joined the community, who's following on Twitter. I know I should have Uni in here, but apparently I don't. All right, Let's be aware of these horizontals. I mean, the reason these high time frame horizontals are important is because when you get into the lows here, there's no fibs really, right? You kind of have local price action, trend lines. You know, sometimes you have nice parallel channels. I just want to see if anything's clean here. There almost looks like there should be some kind of something. But there might not be. It's just the price action's a little too steep. Obviously, this trend line breakout was relevant. Sort of what I'm looking at on FTM as well is we had this like descending, really clean descending channel on FTM, and we're breaking out of it from just a time perspective. Okay, let's just look locally. I do want to pull. There's no descending trend line here that's going to be relevant. You can just kind of tell by how steep the price action is. Just see what. Coming off a 382 retracement on Uni. This is a key horizontal. We might have some fib confluence here. 0.5 is important. I mean, it is just funny how similar. I mean, I've traded essentially this setup like, I feel like 10 times in the last month, which is unsurprising because it like this would just be a middle touch of this range, right? You can see this is a key horizontal. You have the support. We flip to resistance. A retap of that would be important resistance on Uni. If we claim it, we could look up to the golden pocket. Let's see if there's a point of control there. So you have the point of control and golden pocket above it. So if you claim the middle of the channel, you certainly need to look to here, but maybe you reject, backtest, and just head right up to the highs. Or if you reject here, it just makes seeing the lows more likely. But let's look for some more local support ideas if we don't get a full retracement. The hard thing is, obviously, it'd be nice to come in and swing failure of these lows. That'd be a nice long. But you can't always, if you're really interested in getting a position, you can't always rely on taking the absolute low as your only long idea, right? So that can be a little ambitious. Point of control aligned exactly with the 618. There's probably a trend line retest idea here. Not really. I think that's just sort of nonsense if I try to start pulling something like that. I mean, this would be nice. It's nice because it retraces this entire impulse. We'd lose this trend line, which I think is fine. Take these lows back into this consolidation area. So this would be a nice area of support on Uni, I think. With a nice, the most relevant resistance above us being the middle of this horizontal range. So, and you're just looking to see how price interacts at those levels. There's probably an ascending channel here as well. I just want to see if this cleanly, if price cleanly interacts with this or not. It's not bad. Yeah. So we're kind of tapping the top of this ascending channel. That's sort of our local trend. So, you know, if you're interested in shorts, shorts made probably sense just off this channel idea, but you'd want to be taking profits already pretty much into the middle of the channel. So always looking for those parallel angles, right? Like a trend line's one thing, but if you have parallel angles between the highs and the lows, that's very strong. I just have alerts going off, and I was just curious to see what was happening. All right. I'm sure I'm going to miss some here. I'm kind of lost in the chat, to be honest. I was kind of trying to go through everything chronologically, but either way, it'll be good. All right, let's look at KDA. Problem. Pretty. All right, that's obviously a key horizontal, right? We impulsed off of it. Backtest, backtest. Clearly relevant. I really don't think there's any relevant high time frame fibs there. I'm just going to go over local price action here. I'd take like things like point of controls, volume profiles with a little bit of a grain of salt depending on the exchange you're trading on. Just wanted to see. Also just like to see how technical price action is. So the thing is, you don't know if you have a channel here because all you really have is a trend line, but the middle touches make it a little bit more likely. I call these predictive channels because they don't actually exist yet. But I find that you can kind of predict them, especially if you have clean middle touches. So again, we have a golden pocket quite near point of control. I'm going to pull this here as well. Sometimes it's nice just to pull a few volume profiles. I think this is probably the most relevant point of control, which probably aligns with the 786. This one's not irrelevant, but not as relevant. Of course, we're swing failuring these highs right now, right? This is probably justifiable as a range with this ascending channel potential idea. You might add an alert somewhere here. Like if we intersect with this trend line into this golden pocket, that could be a nice setup. Otherwise, if we lose this low, I would just defer to trading back into the lows, personally. But we'll see. All right. The guy who was asking, like spamming, how do you join? How do you join? I said, you just go to the website and join. You said, but how to join? You go to the website and the instructions are there. You just sign up. Oh, wait, that was an old comment. Are comments deleted? I'm lost. All right. Okay, someone's asking for MLT for some reason, but did I already do that? I don't, just to be honest, I don't really like doing random altcoins that are brand new or don't really trade on major exchanges. You know, things that like pump 80% in a day and those kinds of things and trade almost no volume. Like we're talking like a $1,000 position would move price. It's just sort of, there's no point in, I mean, not that there's not technical ideas, but like for personally, I couldn't even trade some of these coins, even if I was on the exchanges they're traded on, just because, I mean, you'd take like a month to build a position. So that being said, I'll probably not really do much analysis on this. If it's just a random like rank 700 or 10,000 altcoin, I wouldn't bother. Somebody asked for MLT again. What was it? Oh, BNB. Everything has to be done locally on BNB. Not that these levels aren't relevant, but just you don't really know if there's major lows put in yet because nice. Perfect descending channel there. So you can see what makes this relevant is you're getting, if you just did this, I'll just point this out really quick with parallel channels. You don't really know that, like, you don't really have a trend line here. But if you take the angle from the lows and then drag it up to this high, the thing that's relevant about this is you had this ascending channel idea before this existed, because all you needed was this low, and this high to get your trend angle. And so when you're kind of just eyeballing a chart, you're trying to see like, hey, does this angle look the same as this angle? I mean, what I'd be interested in, because we haven't even tapped the top of this channel, major resistance up above here, which comes in, let's go to the 1 hour chart tomorrow. If we could pump up and tap the top of this ascending channel at the 618, that would be quite nice. Let's just assume that happens. So you might be looking for something like that, then back into a retest of the lows of the channel. I mean, that would be, those would be ideas I'd be interested in. I mean, probably, like, typically what I would do is if I have interesting ideas here, I'd chart them. If the chart broke through any of those ideas, I'd look for new ideas. But that's quite nice. It's like a 15% drop to the bottom of that channel. Yeah, so that's BNB. I think that's an interesting idea. That'd be quite a bullish bounce too, to bounce off that 382. I'm curious, let's just see if there's some fib confluence here. Almost. And again, this just depends on where the high actually comes in. I'm just predicting that if we do bounce from there. But yeah, so you kind of have like a golden pocket 382 type interaction here potentially with the bottom of this channel. So worth watching. Bybit probably is not the exchange to do this on because there's not a lot of history. Oops. Looks like I had some kind of, from some old, oh, it got completely, this was really old. XMR. This is kind of a region, but I'm going to put this horizontal level here. Kind of go touch, cleaner there, cleaner, resistance. Pull this fib. I think what everybody wants to, a lot of people want to hear, right, when they have a coin. Nice, quite a clean parallel channel here. They want to hear me say something like, "Oh wow, this is this is gonna go up 200%." But typically, what you want to do is just identify support and resistance and find nice positions and let price action play out. Not really any fib confluence here. There's actually quite a bit of price action above us, so I am going to pull the point of control. The 0.5 fib is here somewhere, which would be the middle of the range, intersecting. Yeah, so we're right at the 0.5 fib, which is just a 50%, right, from here to here. You know, I said I felt like I've traded this same setup like 20 times this month, which is just a touch of the middle of a range. The thing that makes this nice is that we have the ascending channel here, which we haven't quite tapped yet. Might make sense to expect a little higher to tap it. But this is important local resistance. If we push beyond it, you know, just gotta look towards the golden pocket, the 786. But claiming the middle of a range is always important, right? Because rejecting from the middle makes the lows more likely. I typically don't like trading the middle of ranges, but if they're really high time frame ranges and you have a lot of confluence, like an ascending channel, actually we have probably tapped it. Not quite. But you know, I like to, when I identify potential ascending channels, I like to identify support within those ideas. So we have the 382 intersection here. Just all depends on the timing. Looks like we're actually going to push up to the top of this ascending channel, probably during this live stream on Monero, so we can see if we get a rejection. Just kind of scouting for ideas. I mean, I think just the ascending channel makes sense. We always want to look potentially for lows to get swept and a nice reaction off of a key fib. When a key fib comes in with a key pivot low, it makes it better, right? Because you know, retrace that pump, sweep that low, and then you rally from there. They can offer nice, definitely scalp trades. Shout out to Gerard for pointing this out in the group. He caught that as we were coming down, that the point of control, the local golden pocket, perfectly aligned, as a likely take profit target for shorts, maybe even a scalp long. Someone asking, is Harmony worth looking at for a long position? Why do I would assume it's just pumping? I'll just tell you guys my honest opinion. For me, I know people like to long breakouts or see like, oh wow, price has gone up 50%. Oh, I don't want to miss this. I don't long this type of price action. If I haven't done the work to find a nice parallel channel again, if I haven't done the work to find my longs at support, then I don't have longs. You know, if I'm interested in Harmony or any coin, why haven't I longed anywhere down here? Why am I only just looking for longs now? And that's because it's a reaction, right? You see something in your trading view, or Bybit sends you alert that such and such coin is up 80% today, and you think, oh, should I long that? You know, you're chasing price action. Nobody wants to long at support. Same on Bitcoin, right? Everybody's, should I be longing this? Should I be longing this? I don't know. We could go up, we could go down. But if you're so interested in longs, why weren't you interested in them at support? You're only interested in them after price is pumped into resistance. And that's, you get caught in, it's not that we can't break out, it's you get caught in this cycle of longing every rally. Yeah, eventually we might break out, but you're so wrecked by then it doesn't matter. Because you're longing resistance, maybe you're selling or shorting support. It's probably the most relevant fib. And yeah, so I guess for me, like, even if there's bullish ideas on anything here that like, oh yeah, we could pump and break out, I would have liked to have found my longs from support. And you know, people ask me that all the time, if they should long Bitcoin now. They don't have a long, so should they open a long now? And it's the same thing like this. If I looked at this Harmony chart, I'd never seen it before, I wouldn't say, oh, I missed this long, should I just long now? No, because over the next 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years, I'm gonna have plenty of opportunities to long at support. And so why would I long after the move, even if we do carry on higher? So anyways, there's resistance here. I kind of went off, I kind of zoned out as I went on my little diatribe there. You'll notice, again, how similar all this price action is, right? These nice parallel channels. And what I'm saying has nothing to do with whether or not price will break out, right? It just applies always. You know, if I say, if price is here and I say, I'm not going to long this, and then price goes like this, someone might say, you idiot. You know, you should have longed this. And same thing on Bitcoin. I mean, I'm shorting this, I'm not longing it, and someone might say, whoa, you're dumb because we're going to break out, and maybe we do, but I have a long from here, a long from here, a long from here. I have lots of longs, and I got them at support, and I'm not interested in longing here. And I'm fully aware that Bitcoin might break out, but I've already put in the work to get my longs from support, and I'm not chasing along now. All right. I guarantee that the vast majority of you guys are showing me everything's pumped right now, right? Are sharing me charts hoping you're looking for longs, right? I know not all of you, but most of you aren't in longs and want longs. And personally, I'd be waiting for retracements and making a plan for the future. I'm kind of feeling like I'm scrolling through everything here, and I've done a lot of these, which is a big win. I'm kind of interested just to look at Bitcoin here quickly. Clean up this chart real quick. But yeah, if you were here at the beginning of the live stream, you would know that this was pointed out, and certainly a level that I would have been looking at. I hadn't pulled it yet, but just to say, like Gerard, who's been a member for quite a while and is doing amazing, he focused on learning the actual tools, right, and how to pull his own charts. He identified this level up here as, hey, you know, this point of control, golden pocket are aligned locally. And that's the amazing thing about actually learning this stuff and not relying, whether you're looking at Bitcoin or anything, where you can just chart your own coins, make your own plans, take your own trades. And, you know, I know there's people that would look at my charts and trade them, but even it's different if you understand all the concepts and you're just too busy to do all the charting, right? Like if I had somebody that just shared charts with me all day, that'd be nice. And I understood the concepts, and I could decide if I want to take those positions or not. But anyways, let's see. Actually, I do want to just look at just CVD really quickly on Bitcoin. I'm just on a different screen, but no bearish divergences and no bullish divergences either locally. We had bearish divergences at the highs, though, so that's relevant. Someone asked for HNT. I'll just look at it quick here. Yeah, hopefully this was an enjoyable live stream for you guys. I did come off the back of like almost a 2-hour members live stream right before this, so. All right, let's look at the 1 day on HNT. Nice interaction there with that wick. I might be interested in seeing where a volume profile. Oh, that's coming in here anyways. Generally not so useful. Do just like to get an idea so just how big these wicks are from a percentage perspective. So we did reject from the 618 from this pivot on the daily chart to the dollar. Just now pulling some local levels. I don't really like any of these parallel channel ideas. I might I may just put this trend line on for a second. The thing is, so one thing I'll point out, although it's not irrelevant, this low to this high, golden pocket, is less relevant because we've already washed through it. It actually makes more sense after you wash through it to pull it from this next pivot into the preceding high. So it makes more sense to pull it from here to here, your fib, instead of here to here, because we've already come through this fib. So this would be a new fib. This is interesting, certainly, on HNT. Like, this is such a nice, clean rejection from the 618. Would make you potentially interested. I need to start putting these on only once because I get way too many alerts going off. Let's pull a volume profile and just see if we get any confluence there. The point of control is quite near. I'm going to pull it from the low here. It's right above it. Be nice if it was aligned, but it's still a bit of a region, I guess. But yeah, HNT, this would be important support. locally. And you just would want to see if there's a reaction, right? Like, I don't set limit orders. I like, because price could just whip through it. But if you're starting getting a reaction there, you might be more interested. All right. Well, hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Certainly looks like an interesting week. I would say that there's a chance, not a certainty, that we've put in some key highs on some of these altcoins today and yesterday. The alts were actually a little bit more, like, Bitcoin's been pumping against alts since last night. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how the next 8-9 hours plays out. Very possible we just keep ranging here for a little while, for several days. Sweep the highs again. So that's why I like to take profits, stop loss to entry, and I can always add back if we retrace to the highs.